Would you mind praying for us to start?
Yeah, let's pray. Father, thank you for the day and your blessings. Thank you for this time that we can gather to learn more about being wise stewards of your money. You own it, and so help us to use it wisely and know where it's all going and just so that we can be better stewards. Bless Barry, use him in this time, and we ask it in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right, guys, like I told y'all last time that we're in here, now she's got to make a video. I feel very unworthy to talk about this. And Randy made a good comment to me the other day that's really stuck with me for over a week, and because I get it and I understand. He made a comment, I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said, people look at me, I'm the CFO of the company, and I think, well, of course this is easy for you, you're the CFO, you probably don't have money issues, number one. Number two, you're an accountant, so you understand money. But I'm here to tell you that's not the case. The number one, everything's proportional. And I'm gonna give you some personal things that we've done that you're gonna think, and that's really stupid. First, let me start by this. 4 years ago, we had a paid-for house, very large house in Muscle Shoals, paid for. And you think, well, that's pretty wise. Well, we sold that house and moved to the lake. And at age 55, I've got a 20-year mortgage again. And so my point in saying all that is not everybody's wise with their money. But I'm gonna tell you some things we've done that's helped us out. And today we're gonna do what we call the conclusions of really the nuts and bolts of what worked for me, and is working, and let me put it that way, is working for us. So let's just start there. But just because I'm an accountant, number one, doesn't mean that I've got all the financial answers to your money. And just because I've got title of CFO doesn't necessarily mean that I've got it made because I make oodles of money. That's just not the case, so just wanted to say that. So let's see, come on. Well, let's see.
Is it on? There's a switch on this.
Yeah, he's got it on. Well, he just walked out. Am I pushing the right button? An arrow, you
Yeah,
think?
you're clicking the right one. I bet it's the
I can just do it that way.
now try it. Now try it.
Okay, all right, thank you, John. All right, so as I was thinking through finishing this series on this, I had actually come up with a couple of values that I thought really came into play here. And as Chad has always said, we talk about all the time that, our values of a company don't just make you a better employee, they really make you a better husband, father, community member, all of that. So I had actually come up with a couple of these, and then going through this with Randy and bouncing ideas off, Randy gave me one, then I just went, man, that was good. And that was the first one here, which was integrity. And the way I took that as we talked about it is we've got to be honest with ourselves on our money first. You and your spouse, number one, have to be on the same page. To your point, your note, how do you cancel this? But it's true. You gotta both want to manage your money first. So you've got to cross that bridge first and make sure everybody's playing from the same, or singing from the same song sheet. And so that's an example of integrity, of doing that. And then what I had said, and what me and Kristen have done over the years, is you gotta measure first. You gotta know where you're at. I mean, you can't, anybody can say, oh, I wanna have this budget, but until you know where you're spending every dime, and we're gonna get into a little details of that, you're just never gonna be able to really set a budget. And that's what brings into maximizing. That is, okay, now let's maximize the benefits of our money. Let's set a budget. Let's track that. Here's our budget. Just like we do at a company here, we just did it yesterday afternoon. Once a month, we go in and I present to Chad, here's our actual budget, here's what we actually did. Here's what we budgeted to do, and here's the difference. And here's the difference is, here's why we were better here or worse here. And then he asked lots of questions, but we measure and we maximize, and out of that meeting comes, here's some things we need to do. Maybe it's cut expenses down. So here's some things we need to do, cut expenses. Or here's some things we need to do to reach more customers. Or sometimes it's not that side, it's we gotta collect the money. This guy's not paying me, so you're gonna call this day, you're gonna call this day. Me and Shelley are tag teaming one right now we're having trouble with. So you gotta maximize. And then it's not really written in our values, but it's really what we are. And I should have used the acrostic. Now I'm thinking about it. Man, we had it. Our acrostic is committed. And I wrote down here, we must be disciplined in our actions. And really, that actually, we ought to change that before the next year. We need to be committed. If you're really gonna make a difference with your money. And this is a discussion me and Kristen had last night. Let me say that right quick before I go forward. We're very fortunate. We're in a good place now. We've got things, and so, but we are not being good stewards of our money. We waste a ton of money because we have it to waste. And we had a big conversation of that last night. As I was telling her what I was fixing to do with this, she was like, we really need to do this again and see where are we spending money and where are we wasting money? Because we waste a bunch. So let's talk about the measure. Okay, first, where did the money go? Which is what this whole series was talked about. So here's what I encourage you to do. Just on a blank sheet of paper. Write down, well, first of all, you can get your 30-day net paychecks. Some of you, it's the same amount every week, which makes it very easy. That's great. When you're an hourly employee, it's not that easy. Some weeks you might, make $150 less or more. But that's the first thing. And I'm saying, get your 4 paycheck net. We'll talk about some other things in a minute, but I would write them down. Here's my 4 net paychecks for a month. We're gonna talk in a minute I'll wait till I get to that slide to do it. Then what's really important is write down your spending for 30 days, a month's worth of spending, okay? Now, I am probably the only nerd left in America that uses a checkbook register. I literally go through every day and write down when we spend anything in a checkbook still. My wife doesn't do it. I go to the bank when my register gets full and say, do y'all have any registers? And they're like, no, because nobody does that anymore. So that's okay if you don't do that. Then at least on your phone, most of you got your banking app. Pull up your last 30 days and write down, where did you spend your money? And then do this, just put the date, what it was, what it was for, how much. And then what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna do 2 things. The first, I probably should have reversed these. You need to write down what's a necessity. Items such as your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, groceries. What are things that, man, I gotta have. And then where did you spend your money that you didn't have to spend it? Examples for me. I might have bought some fishing lures. I went golfing 3 times. I bought a dozen golf balls. We went to the movies. I know that's all good stuff, but we did not have to spend that. We ate out 3 times in the week. It's all good stuff, but we didn't have to do it. So that we know, because what we're trying to get to at the end of the day is what is essential and what is non-essential. To try to get to a starting point to where you can get back to being able to live more freely. Because one of the things Randy said to me, and he's exactly right. How do you start? if you're already spending everything you make every week, how do you start? And, I think I may have got ahead on all this stuff. Let me see, let me get caught up, cause I'm kind of just talking off the cuff. So categorize your necessary spendings. And then I'm gonna give you a simple budget model in a minute to use. And be honest with yourself on what you're gonna spend. Again, you can't just, the old saying, I work to live or I live to work. A lot of people are in that mode that they just work because they gotta cover the bills. If you don't have any outside life, then man, that's a tough way to be. And I've been there where we just could not afford to go eat or go to the movies or go on vacation. My brother's in that spot right now. He just can't afford to do anything. And he's got reasons for it. He's got daughters getting married and lots of things, but man, they just can't, they just surviving right now. And this is a guy that does extremely well, and he's in survival mode. So, and then what I wanted to say was, I thought on what Randy said to me is, how do you get started? If you're in this trap of you spent your money every week, it's all accounted for. So the more I thought, we're gonna build budgets based off 4 paychecks, not 5. Cause 4 times a year, you're gonna get a 5th paycheck. August is one of them. So that's great. So if you can learn, if you remember back from the last section, and we'll talk a little bit about that, what I do personally and what I suggest people do for the big expenses, if you got a house payment and you got car payments, I would definitely I do this personally for a house payment and car payment. I've got a separate bank account, and every week I put 1/4 of that payment into that account for both of those. So that at the end of the month, number one, the money's there to pay it. And I didn't see it in my normal spending account. It's just there to pay it. But also, at the end of the year, I've made theoretically an extra payment, because I got 4 extra paychecks that went into that account that I did not have to spend. So you can elect to make an extra payment, pay it off quicker. Or if you go the route that what me and my wife are doing, we're trying to use the Ramsey approach of having 6 months savings. Well, I want to have 1 year savings on my house payment. So I'm doing a little extra than the 4 week, but I'm just telling you where to start, because I want, if something were to happen to me, I want my wife to know she's got 1 year's worth of house payments sitting in this account. And she's got a year to determine, do I sell it? Do I get remarried? Or what? But she's not worried of, oh my gosh, I gotta make the house payment next month and it's gone. And we're at about 10 months worth of that now, maybe 9.5 months worth of extra house payments set aside for nothing but that. It's not for vacations. It's not for a car payment. A car can come and go if they come and take it away. You gotta have a place to live. So anyways, so what I encourage you to do is get to a point where you're using that 5th paycheck. So you're gonna get 4 a year as your savings, or a way to get started on getting caught up and get budgeting done, because you're gonna get one this month. And what's great about it is, we get paid on August the 30th. I was just looking at my cycle today, and literally for that last week, I have nothing that will have to be paid. So that whole check for me is like a bonus check. So I've already put away for the car, I've already put away for the house, and the rest of it is just gonna go into savings. But it took us a long time to get there. So don't get distracted that it takes you a while to get there. So August has that 5th paycheck. Also, most everybody in the company gets either a monthly or a quarterly bonus. And we're probably spending it, but you can take that money and, we also normally, as long as conditions are right, get a Christmas bonus. You can use those monies, don't use that as part of your living, use that to either start budgeting, so you can get going on that. Does that make sense? That's what we do, that's what I do. So really that's what I was afraid of, we're gonna have a lot of time left, but what I thought we could do is, this is literally, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is a sample budget form, but with my line items at home. I am telling y'all what I spend my money on. So we've got giving, which is primarily tithe for us. It's giving to the church because we're doing UTD cares and all that through work, but primarily it's giving. And there's some other things that we do that I've shared with Rob and I won't share in here, but that's primarily what that is. We have a car payment. We have the fuel for the car. We have groceries. We have a mortgage. We pay pest control. We have cable. I actually have a guy that does my yard. I sold all my lawnmowers now and I have a guy cut my grass now. My wife has a cell phone, utilities, life insurance, auto insurance. We still have a student loan for our kids in college, so there's another one that some of y'all may not have those expenses. I've got that, as well as my kids have some student loan, but that was an agreement we've made with them. We paid some of the student loans and they're paying their graduate stuff. We have a credit card, but that's kind of it's not really a budget line because we try to keep that paid off. And then entertainment and then miscellaneous is what we do. So, that's the categories we have. So what I would do is come in here. Let me see if I can do this up here. Is everybody seeing that? I mean, the people that's watching?
Yeah.
They're not gonna be able to see me if I'm standing up here doing this though, but they can at least hear me. Oh, it's in spreadsheet mode. Oh, I gotta switch. Okay, never mind. I know what to do. Let's do this, yeah. Escape out. Pull up the actual model.
Yeah.
Okay, is it sharing that model now? It is sharing that model. So then we could come in here and we just play with some numbers. So, let's say, and we'll just make this up, we get $700 a week net pay. Yeah, that's smart. I don't know if that's a good number for people, but anyways, this is how I would fill this out. $700, $700, $700, $700, $700. Okay. So that's everything we got. So then I would come down here and the amount of for a month's time period, obviously that's kind of harder to do, but that would end up being roughly 100. Because if that's my net take home, and I'm not getting into the debate of gross versus net and all that stuff, but if that's my net, my gross was probably 1,000. Okay, so that would have been my tithe number, we'll say. So I would spend that. I was wrong. I would spend that out of my last week. Let's say, so the first thing I'd do is I'd come in this column, the amount column, and I would say, I would fill in, this is monthly, and I'm making this up, so it may not balance. Let's say we spend $500 on a car payment, a fuel, let's say $100 a month. I have no idea. Let's see. Groceries, probably $200 a week. So for 4 weeks, it'd be $800. Mortgage, let's say your mortgage is $1,000. And what's probably going to do, we're going to get done with this for a month. Pest control, yeah, $40 a month. Cable, $150 a month. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Lawn care, let's say that's $100 a month. Yeah, my numbers aren't gonna work out, but that's okay. Cell phone, 150 a month. Utilities, what's utilities? 300 a month? Yeah, I don't know, maybe they're more. Let's see, that's 90 a month. Auto insurance is probably for two cars, let's say 300 a month. Student loan, nobody, you don't have that, we'll say. Credit cards, you don't have that. Entertainment, we're gonna spend $50 a week, 200 a month. And miscellaneous, we're gonna spend another 200 a month. All right, so we're gonna come down here, and I don't know how I'm gonna get to do this. Let's see, we're gonna sum it. And we're gonna hit enter. All right, that's $4,400 a month. Now, see, that's gonna be bad, because then we're gonna come up here and we're gonna say, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna sum that. And we only made $3,500 a month. Okay, so therefore the budget's not gonna work. So that's where you gotta start deciding. And that, and I get it, that's where everybody's at. That's where you gotta start making decisions on what are you gonna cut down? Well, okay. You know. And that's where it gets hard. I mean, what are you gonna cut out? Well, here's my non-necessities. Okay, in this example. Cable is not a necessity. And some people may say it is, but I can get rid of that till I can get, lawn care is certainly not a necessity. Miscellaneous, we're just not gonna spend it. I mean, we're not gonna buy stuff. In entertainment, let's see, if I knocked out all of those, 3,500, let's see if we're closer now. 37, we're still not there. That's why I should have spent more time on the example with closer to real numbers.
Go on, live with the bugs, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Give yourself a $100.
yeah, let's say,
Go on,
yeah, let's
go
do
on,
that.
go on,
Let's
get-
give $100 raise. Yeah, on this
Go
example.
on, get you an 06 Civic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
New truck,
yeah.
ain't no shame.
So let's do that.
Rice and beans.
So there you
Is that
go.
what you're gonna do for all of us?
What's that? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Y'all tell me where you're at. We'll give you a raise till you cover it. No, yeah, that's right. That's actually what I told Rob this morning. Okay, so in this example now, if my net take home was 800 a week. Oops, wrong button. I can't see it to get down there. Now we would actually make it. We would have $220 left over. So we can,
Well,
Come on.
but you have your example with 5 paychecks and not 4.
oh, very good point. Very good point. It took all 5 to still cover this budget. That's a great point. So, so, yeah, excellent. So let's go in here and let's knock this out. So that it doesn't include that. So we would have to be at $3,200. Okay, well,
This is real life.
this is real life, what you're doing. That's exactly right, yeah. Yeah. That's where I tell you, I don't know what to tell you to do. You know,
Go on, start shopping at Aldi.
Yeah. well, but the reality, here's the thing. Here's where I'm looking at this. A lot of these expenses, when I did groceries at $800, when I did a mortgage, I'm doing that. Really, that's a home. Most people aren't single. My pay I've put in here is for one person. Let's say you got 2 people. That's what's gonna make it more. That's why I should have already done. Let's say it's 1,500. That's $750 a piece. Is that realistic? Let's think about that. Somebody's making $20 an hour times $20 an hour a week at straight time is $800 times 75% is,
Be about 650 take home.
650. All right, so let's say there's two of them then. Cause that's so that's 1350 is really the pay. Okay, to your point, and then on your 4 weeks. Now you've made $5,400, and now we can get more realistic with the spending. I had all these blank lines in here. So yeah, so now now it's way more realistic. So,
Got about a minute left.
oh, do I? Okay. So, but anyways, you get what I guess the bottom line is I'm just trying to show you an example of, and I can give you this model, figure out where you're spending the money, figure out, try to start with a model and then do this, start plugging and playing and then say, all right, this is what this is where we've got to cut, to get to where we want to be. Cause in this example, we could actually come back in here and put back in, miscellaneous money. We could put back in entertainment, $50 a week, and we're still covering it. Does that make sense? All right, man, I'm sorry it took too long. Any quick questions on it? And look, let me say this too. Anybody that is really struggling, that just wants to say, hey, can I bring you my expenses and you help me put it in a model? I would be more than happy to do that. I really would. If you don't mind me seeing where you're spending your money. Cause I know how much you make anyway. But if you want me to know where you're spending it, that's fine. And I would love to sit down and go over it. But any questions on it? No? All right. I guess we are done then. Thank y'all very much.
Thanks.
How do we kill it?
They wanna leave it.
No,
Yeah, I
just
should have
that-
done this different, man. That was bad.
Retirement, I'd say. Savings for.
I was saying I should have said that. Savings for retirement. Well, it's already out, net pay. I was trying to give the example. Here's how much hits your bank account after you've done that,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cause we talked, and I probably should have talked about it. Is this thing turned off?
It's still going, but.
Oh, okay, leave it going. Okay.
I would like to know about that, so I don't have to be here in my 80s.
Yeah, what's that?
Retired.
Retirement fund.
Well, number
We swap
one,
back to your
okay,
slides For the next one.
yeah, get
If
me
you
back.
wanna do it on the next post, that's all.
No, it's fine. Well, let me just tell you the basics.
Mhm,
You need to at least be putting 3% of your money in it.
right,
And the reason is because the company matches 3%. So if you're putting away 3% of your income a year, you're getting 6.
Mhm.
Okay? Now, from there, you really need to decide at your age. I'd have to go look at the numbers, but you can put, it's somewhere around $19,000 a year that you can put away.
In the simple.
In the
it's like
simple.
16 or 17.
Is it 16.5
And our
now?
Roth is 6 or 7 each.
Yeah,
no, ours is RRA, ain't it?
yes,
Well,
no,
I
you're
read
right.
it's 16K.
Yeah.
But I would do what he said, 3 and 3, put the rest in the Roth for a lot of reasons later on.
Mhm.
Because you want no taxes later on, and even if you don't touch your retirement and someone else gets it, they don't want to defer.
Yeah, no, they don't have to pay the
You also
taxes
don't
on it.
want future administrations that could be elected to force you to take out the whatever it's called, the minimum required
Right.
maintenance when you're 62 and a half.
Right.
But
Where do you start with a Roth?
All you gotta do is call over to and say.
you call and say, I want to set up a car.
A year.
Yeah, and that's after tax money you're giving them. Yeah, but I've told everybody here, I just can't believe everybody does not contribute to our our IRA, cause it's free money. At 3%, cause the reality is if you're giving 3% of your money, because it's non-taxable at this point, your net effect to your paycheck is probably 2.2%. Because now you've got, your income's reduced, so your taxes are less. It's not, you're not bringing home 3% less. we could run you the numbers and show you, you're gonna bring home 2.2% less or 2.5, whatever it comes out to be. But, and here's the thing, we take it out every single paycheck. Once a month, we send it to Edward Jones and we send the match that same month. So you're getting interest on your money and the match every month. Our IRAs would allow us to send your money every month. That's by law. We have to do that. But they would allow us as a company not send the match till December 31st, so that it saves the company cash flow. But if we did that, all the people participating would not be gaining interest on that 3%. Now, there's a thought that says they may not be losing that 3% either if the market tanks, but generally speaking, it's going up. So we match that every check, so.
Now, is that from sign up or rollover? What happens if you roll over from what I had in my previous company?
You have to get with Scott at Edward Jones, but he can roll yours over, yeah.
But I mean, will the company match what I roll over?
Oh, no,
It's start from what you put in?
No, it's just on what you put in, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get some extra cash, Barry.
I hear you.
There
Are
might
we?
be another.
There may not be another, okay.
Tyler wasn't here, he's the one that signed up.
Okay,
But whether you're on camera or not right here, we may add what you just did. I may add that to the video
oh, okay,
and
yeah.
when we put it online, because I think it's an important part of that.
Man, I wish I was better at this, guys. I enjoy talking about it, I just am not good at it.
You're great.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. And
Would you, just, y'all have 2 minutes?
Yeah, dude.
Would you not, tell me what you think about this. So our experience, everyone can relate to what you shared.
Right,
But if you're really to simplify it, it's track your bucks. That's what you
Right.
talked about. Cause
Yeah.
it'll disappear regardless of what you
Absolutely.
make, that stuff disappears.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
track in and out. Then you get into a world just by tracking it out, whether it's every dollar or spreadsheets or whatever floats your boat. Then you get into how can I get it where I have not all my money running away, like your example, where you're
Right.
spending more than you're making.
Right,
Then it could take years, it could take months, you just have to figure it out. There's lots of books that can help you with that.
right.
Then you're right side up at least you can live Friday to Friday.
That's exactly
Then the
right.
next step is you continue the journey in your home of how can I get a month ahead?
Mhm.
Meaning the money that I have, I've already got right now to live that spreadsheet.
That's
just
right.
For the next 4 weeks or
Right.
5 weeks, I've
Right.
got it. And then I spend it instead of each check, I have to put aside, just to make it, right?
Right,
So then you get a month ahead. Then the next phase in that is, then it gets so much better because then you can start working off percentages. Percentages allow you to plan your month, your bonus, your year ahead. That's awesome.
yeah,
Because if you've got your percentage and it's simple, it's like 10% giving, 20% expenses, 30% savings,
Mhm.
10% vacation, and then everything else. And then that way, whatever you put in your spreadsheet, Ramsey's got guidelines, like don't do more than 30% for mortgage and utilities. That lets you know how much of a house you should get at a 15-20 year mortgage. But so the thought is get out of day to day, get a month ahead, then work on your percentages. And then the decisions are, I mean, you still have to tweak for life, like our refrigerator went out this month and that's
Right.
not cheap. But it helps so
you're exactly,
much
and you're
because your
exactly.
brain hurts less.
Well, and what it does, it's so freeing, because that's the part that I haven't really talked about in here. Is there's some truth and, hey, people can't relate because you're in a different boat. I am in a different boat because I'm in a different stage of life.
Literally.
I don't have little kids coming along that's getting into everything with you guys. And then he's in an expensive stage because they're in sports.
Yeah.
So we're at a stage now where my wife is still working. She complains every day, I don't want to work, but she works. But we do not have to have her money. So that's where she was really talking about, man, we're wasteful. Because what we agreed to do was just stash all her money into savings. week after week after week.